Hi Dot, how are you?
Hi, Camilla. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm a bit sick, as I told you earlier. I'm a bit. I have a sore throat, but I'm getting better. Yeah.
That's good. Yes,
Yeah. So I'm
that's
so
good.
happy. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you. It's been a while since the last time you were
Yeah,
in the
it
channel.
has.
Thank you for
Yeah,
doing it again.
that's okay. And
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Yeah. So we are here today to talk about COVID, and I have some questions. I create some questions for us to answer. And the first question I would like to ask you, and I will answer the question as well, is how are you holding up during this quarantine? How are you holding up during this quarantine? Would you like to start?
Yeah, okay. I think maybe in the UK it's a little bit different from where you are. I don't know. But here we are just starting to unlock um, the lockdown a little bit. So now we can um, meet people from one other household in somebody's garden or in a park, but
When
maximum
people?
six, one household, maximum six people now. So
What
you
do you
can't
mean
meet.
by household? I've been listening to this word a lot, household, but I'm not sure I know what it means.
Yeah, household is either maybe one family or a family with maybe one other person who is in there. We call it a support bubble. Yeah. So a person on their own is allowed to be in a bubble with another family. Or it could be just, it could be a friend or it could be a relative, but it's only people who live on their own. But there is also a childcare bubble. So you can have a couple, like grandparents, who look after children in that family when the parents are at work, only when the parents are at work, not for socializing.
Mm.
That is also a household. So if you can have two households, so maybe two families, each of them may have one or two people that they can be with, they can all meet together, but not if it's more than six people and only outside. So
Wow.
it's very strict. Yeah.
And
Not everybody is doing it, but yeah,
yeah,
that's what it
that,
should
that
be.
was that was my question. And so, do you inform to the government that's my bubble? How does that work officially, or
No,
or it's something that
no.
you know? It's
Yeah, you just do it. And if the you can be asked, but usually the police don't ask. If they just see there's a family and there are three adults there, they assume that it's a bubble, a support bubble. So nobody really checks upon that. But yeah, if there are big parties or parties inside, then they check up. We're not allowed to meet people inside houses, yeah, or inside pubs or cafes yet. We can now have coffee or a meal outside a pub or outside a cafe, sitting at tables. But of course, in the UK, in April and May, that's not always good. Today
is it
is
cold?
pouring down and it's freezing cold, yeah. But during your question was, how am I bearing up? I'm fine.
Bearing up. It's another way of saying
Bearing up,
holding up.
holding up,
Holding up.
bearing up.
Bearing up. Okay.
Yes, either. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you might be able to hear my phone's ringing. But yeah, I think I'm probably a little bit more anxious, but that's getting better. I think at the height of the pandemic, here it was January. I was quite anxious about being outside or going with other people in shops and things like that. But now I know I've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, because I'm on a vaccine trial and I didn't know until February whether I'd had the vaccine or a placebo. And then I found out in February I'd had two shots of the vaccine in
Wow.
November. Yeah. So that makes a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here many people are now vaccinated, so it's getting better. So I'm not quite as anxious as I was, but actually, Camila, I've got used to being in my house, and I think I don't know whether I want to go out and meet people
Really?
again. I don't know whether I want people to come. Just my grandchildren. I just want my grandchildren to come. Yeah, need to see them.
Yeah, no, yeah. And you have a son who lives in another country, right?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
Um, yeah, I do. I have a son who lives in Austria. I have two other sons who live in the UK, and one son who lives in Austria. Yeah.
And you used to go and travel and visit, but you
Yes.
haven't gone.
No,
Yeah.
I used to go maybe twice a year to Austria, which is beautiful. And he and his family used to come maybe once a year. But I haven't seen them for, I don't know, a year and a half nearly. So that's really sad. And we don't think that he's going to be able to come in August. He was going to come in August from Austria on the train because he doesn't want to fly. They're not flying anymore. So because of the just climate change. But the problem is you have to go through many countries, and we're about to get a traffic light system of countries that it is safe for those people to come here. And if he has to travel through a red country, then he has to quarantine for 2 weeks when he gets here. But his
Wow.
holiday is only 2 weeks, so we think maybe he can't come. Yeah. What about you? How are you with
Wow,
it?
I feel really lucky. I feel like sometimes depending on the person, on the people I'm talking to, I feel like I should come up with a different answer because to be super honest with you, my life hasn't changed because I've been and that's a I'm not sure if that's sad or not, but it made me realize how actually sad, so to speak, my life was before, because I've been working on iTalk, I've been working online, and I haven't been socializing with people for the past maybe 4 or 5 years. 5 years,
Oh gosh.
and now I see that that actually was by choice. I've made a choice of staying home, working. I made a choice of living in a city where I had no friends because it was a cheaper city, and I was trying to cope with some things that were happening in my life. And actually my life hasn't changed, but I feel like I should say that it's different, that I miss being outside or traveling or being,
Mm,
but actually I'm not sure if I'm lucky that I haven't had any impacts of my life, especially on my mental health, because I feel like the friends that I have who lost their jobs or who had to work remotely, they're experiencing some anxiety.
yeah.
I have a friend who has not been seeing his girlfriend for he hasn't seen his girlfriend in a year and a half.
Oh my
They're,
God.
they're and they live in the same city, but because
Oh my God, that's
they have
terrible.
that's terrible. They live with their families and they're trying to protect their grandparents.
Their grandparents, yeah.
They're not meeting, and that's sad. But in
Yeah.
my case, it's not. I mean, that's not the case for me. So I am anxious, but it's because I keep reading. Sometimes I stop reading the news, but now even if I'm not reading the news, my friends are telling me about that and that,
My God.
and I'm always wondering how close will it come to me? How many
Yes.
people will I lose?
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we see it on the news from Brazil,
yeah,
and it doesn't look good.
yeah,
Yeah, we've
yeah.
been we've been through a bad time ourselves, but it does look bad at the moment in Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is bad. It is
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
But,
So
but thankfully you're okay at the moment. And maybe that's good, that it hasn't really affected you. Yeah. But maybe that's something that then afterwards you might think about, yeah. How
yeah.
is this good? It didn't affect me, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was talking about that with my therapist and with some friends of mine and even students, that it feels to me like we are living. Do you have the expression in the eye of the hurricane or something like that?
The eye in the eye of the storm. Yeah.
In the eye of the storm. I was
Yeah.
making this literal translation. So
Yeah.
it feels like we are in the eye of the storm, and we do what we have to do, because when things happen, we need to take action. But the
Yeah.
emotions, they come later. So I
Afterwards.
feel afterwards. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. They come afterwards. So I feel like I have friends who lost their grandparents, their parents, friends, and I might lose. I truthfully hope not, or truly hope not. But I mean, we are, they lost people, but they keep working, they keep exercising, they keep doing what they have to do to
Yeah.
keep their life going, moving forward. But I imagine what the effect 3 years in the future, 5 years in the future, when we are talking about that in the future. And will it, I mean, will it be a nation of sad people, depressed people, when we look back and realize that actually we lost all our loved ones in a pandemic? We will be talking, oh, I lost my mom, my dad, my uncle, my cousins, they all died in the pandemic. How, in a long term, how will that affect our lives?
Yeah.
I think right now, in the eye of the storm, we are we're doing our best, and it feels like
Yeah.
it's okay, it's just one more number, it's happening, we need to bury
Mm.
our loved ones and keep living,
Keep
because we
going.
have keep going, we have bills to pay, we keep going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in a long
Yeah.
run, how will it be? Like, we will be depressed, I wonder.
I don't know, but it's a bit like being in a war,
Mm,
because it is like a war, but you can't see the enemy that you're fighting. But
yeah.
what happens in a war, is that people keep going. Yeah, just like this, people keep going. And in the Second World War that my parents were in, even my dad got shot, but he obviously wasn't killed, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But the people just kept going. And afterwards, in a way, they still kept going. But yeah, I think they reacted afterwards, and people maybe they didn't talk about it then, but I think people probably did get depressed. But the big thing was they had all been through it together, and that helps, I think.
Mm,
And we have all been, the whole world has been through this together. So we
yeah.
can talk about it afterwards. And I think that will help because everybody's had different experiences, but the same experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people worse than others. So I think maybe we need to talk about it and we need to change the world a bit so
Yeah.
that disadvantaged people don't get more ill than other people, which is exactly what's happened. Yeah. So maybe we can change things for the better. But yeah, I think there
Yeah.
will be an effect later on. Yeah,
No,
probably.
yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you on that topic. That's not a part of the questions that I had prepared, but something that came up now. Do you think, who do you think are the people more affected by mental illness or depression? Because do you think the the elderly, or the children, or the teenagers, the adults? If you were to say who were the more, who potentially will develop more depressive symptoms, or in
Not
general?
the
Hmm.
who in general, not the elderly.
No.
No, because
Hmm.
I really don't think the elderly, because they have seen lots of other things. They've been through lots of things, and so they can kind of get through it better, probably because they have a lot of life experience, and also people have been trying to protect them, and maybe they haven't had to go out to work, and that kind of thing. I think the main people are teenagers and young people, like in their 20s, and young parents.
Hmm.
So maybe people who are trying to have relationships and they can't see their loved one.
Yeah.
So people from maybe um, 11, 12 years old who can't see their friends, to teenagers who can't see their girlfriend or boyfriend, and then to young parents who've been trying to look after children without schooling, and schooling them
Oh,
at home in this country anyway. I don't know about Brazil, but terrible stress trying to work.
yeah,
But the main people, I think, who will be more depressed are the people who've had to work, keep on working, keep on looking after children, and the ones who've lost people, and they are usually the poorest.
yeah,
So the ones who've lost most people, they probably will be the most badly affected, I think.
yeah,
But I don't know. People surprise you quite often. Yeah, so, but not the old people, probably not children, because they just take it in their this is, oh, it's all a bit crazy at the moment,
they
but this is
adjust,
life.
you think?
Yeah, they adjust.
Children adjust.
I think so.
Yes, I was thinking more of, I wanted to ask you this because, for example, my parents and my uncle died, and my aunt, she's 80 years old, and she does not have an iPhone or a smartphone, and she does not have a connection to the internet. She's all alone, and we cannot visit her, we cannot be with her,
Mm,
and she has no connection with the world whatsoever. So
that's
I
hard.
was wondering, yeah, for people, how I wanted to ask you, how did you cap how did you keep how did you keep in touch with your loved ones?
Uh,
How
on
how communication was happening?
on the phone, I mean, I live on my own, but I have a partner.
Yeah.
But because we are a household,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So this is
Yeah.
he. We don't live in the same house,
Mm-hmm.
but at the beginning we weren't allowed to be. But now, since last summer, we can be. So I see him sometimes, but with I keep in touch with my sons and my grandchildren on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
on WhatsApp, a lot on WhatsApp, or WhatsApp video, or Skype,
Yeah.
or Zoom. Yeah, just face to face video calls, and that has been fantastic.
Yeah.
So for people who can't, yeah, old people who can't use that, or people who don't have a mobile phone or a computer, oh my God, they probably will be very affected, I imagine. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And even if they do, my parents, for example, they sort of know how to use WhatsApp. That's the only thing that they can use, but they're not used to it. I think children, they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have friends who, I mean, they can do this video chat. They don't need physical contact. They can, it's normal for them. They are
Yeah,
into
it's normal. Yeah.
technological things. They can, even sometimes I'll say, because for me it's very important seeing, and sometimes I'll ask a friend, let's video chat, and they will be like, why we are texting, and I'm like, "Well, but texting does not replace seeing each
Seeing
other
someone. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
listening to
no.
voice. Even this, it's,
Yes.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
rather be in a room with them having a drink, but I mean, I think Zoom, do you say zooming
Zooming.
zooming with people,
Zooming.
it's zooming, it's better than texting.
Yeah.
But my
I think
mom,
so.
she cannot
Yeah.
be texting. I mean, she she doesn't even know how to use properly like a keyboard. She knows, I mean, she does. It's difficult. She uses one finger, and she's like doing this with her phone. She doesn't know how to swipe, and it
Oh,
takes forever for her to send a message.
oh gosh. So she's
So
got a smartphone, but she doesn't really know how to use it. Yeah. Oh, that's, and of
no,
course you can't be with her to show her, can you?
no,
You can't teach. Can
no,
she? Does she have a computer? Does she have a
no,
laptop?
no, no, no,
Oh, so she
no.
can't. So what about WhatsApp video calls? Can she do WhatsApp video calls?
No, she knows how to do it. We've been doing it with my parents. I've been doing it, but with my aunts and uncles, they don't know how. They don't even have the means to. So I was wondering if it was worse for them, this what
Maybe.
this this connection with everyone. I mean, I don't know, but it's difficult. I think it's difficult on everybody in a level.
It is, yeah, but that's a good point, because maybe the older people are more resilient in some ways, but maybe they're not as connected. So, like, so maybe people over, I don't know, 50 or 60 who can't Zoom and they or don't have a laptop and they don't know how to text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a life skill that they haven't got, but young people have. So maybe the young people are just still texting and still in
Mm-hmm.
touch with people. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
So the last question I would like to ask you, because we might be running out of time,
Ah, we're
is
okay.
what lessons, if any, have you learned during this pandemic? Have you learned? It's a difficult
Less
question to ask. Like, I know.
lessons that you mean that I should learn for
Oh,
myself.
or you learned, or something that you notice about the world. Yeah, because for me, I'll go first then. I
Okay.
learned that um, I took for granted what I had before. I always thought that the future hold a lot of possibilities, that everything I could possibly do in the future I'll do that after I have like a
Yeah.
saving accounts, after I do that, I work, I don't know, I buy, I don't know. So I would always postponing my happiness, so to speak. I was always saying, no, I'll do that travel later. I work from home, I can do that. But now I see that the future is not a guarantee, and we should be with the ones that we love, and we should enjoy ourselves and enjoy the time with the people that we have in our lives as we have, because we don't know what the future holds. That's pretty obvious. Like, I know that it was always the case with, but I needed a pandemic to show me that I was postponing living,
Yeah,
and I won't do
interesting,
that
isn't it?
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think lots of people maybe have realized the same thing. Yeah, there is that. I think I used to not invite people to my house because I'm always worried about it's untidy and I have to
Oh,
clean it and I hate cleaning and I'm not a good cook and I always get terribly stressed when I'm cooking for other people. Yeah.
yeah.
But now I'm thinking, this is one thing anyway. I'm thinking, I'm just going to invite people. I don't care anymore. People
Yeah.
shouldn't come to look at my house. People should come to see me and eat my food. If it's not great, it doesn't matter as long as I don't poison them. Um, I want people around my table. This is my
Yeah.
kitchen table here.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been nobody at my kitchen table for, so apart from my partner, Joe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't had my family here. No Christmas, no Easter, no birthdays. And it's like, no, my kitchen needs people. My table needs people.
Amazing.
Okay, now I don't care. I'm going to cook. I'm going to ask people. Even before we can get people in the house, I'm going to have people in the garden when it stops blowing a gale and raining. Yeah, in the garden, my little garden that is only tiny, but who cares? I'm going to ask people to come because just like you, Camila, it's like, oh yeah, I will do that sometime. No, do it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like seize the day, isn't it? Have you heard that carpe diem?
Is the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Seize the day. It's like don't wait till tomorrow. Yeah, just let. Oh, it's going to be so great, and I'll probably still get stressed, but I just think now, no, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to say to people, come and have a drink, come and have something to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
No.
other thing is something I've discovered about myself, which is not good. Yeah.
Mm.
I am such a slut. I'm such a slut. I don't clean because nobody's coming, so I don't clean the house. I'm terrible. It's just like, well, I do. I kind of clean the kitchen and I clean the bathroom. My bedroom is dreadful. Like there's stuff everywhere. And it's
I
like, oh
can
my
relate.
God. And
I
I
can relate.
I can't make myself do it. What is wrong with me? Yeah, but when I know people are going to come, sometimes I go, oh
Mhm.
my God, I need to tidy. I need
Yeah.
to tidy the house. And yeah, now there is a year's worth of untidiness in this house. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Now I
Amazing.
have to start now because I haven't done it, and people are going to start coming. I have to tidy up and clean.
God, I
So
can
have you?
totally relate to that. Totally, yeah.
Can you?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely,
Oh
yeah. No,
my God,
definitely.
I need I think I need a routine to make me do things.
Yeah,
Because you think when you have lots of time, you're
yeah.
going to do lots of things, and actually, you don't,
No,
because you slow down and everything takes longer.
no, definitely, yeah. That was actually the
Yeah.
topic of my session yesterday with my therapist.
Okay.
He made me do this list I sent him today because, yeah, like you said, when we have all the time in the world, that's potentially time to do anything, but because it could be, um, I don't know, it's suffocating. Like, I can do, but why don't you? And then the time, and then you keep like postponing, procrastinating. Later, I'll do that.
Procrastinating.
But
Yeah.
then you don't. And then, especially because when we work, you do not work anymore. But I bet that when you had a schedule, you would be more productive because you had to go. You work in a hospital, right? You had to go
You
to the
used to do.
hospital. You
Hmm.
used to go to the hospital. So you had the mornings, you had to do things, and then you go to the hospital, you had to be there from, I don't know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then after, but now when we have this day, clean day, I mean, when I need to train that to do
Mm.
things. So I create a schedule. I will try to follow it up. I don't know
Oh,
if I'll.
very good. I'm very impressed. That is
Actually,
really good, because it's actually very soul destroying when you don't feel satisfied when you get to the end of the day and you look back and you haven't done
yeah,
anything. You
yeah.
haven't achieved anything. But when you're at work, going out to work, or whatever, I mean, even though I'm retired, I used to be very busy going out and doing things. And
Mm-hmm.
you could look back on your day and realize, oh yeah, I did this and I did that and I met this person.
Yeah,
But it's awful when that you can't say that. Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling the same thing.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. The pandemic brought
Very
this.
weird.
Yes, very
Yeah,
weird. Yeah, yeah. Oh my
it
God.
is weird.
Thank you. Thank you for
That's
this lovely
okay.
conversation. I loved it. Let's
Oh,
do
it's
it
okay.
again.
Me too. Yeah, let's do it again. It's just always so lovely to talk to you, Camila,
Thank
because
you.
we always have interesting conversations.
Oh,
It's
thank
really
you.
great.
Thank you. I really appreciate them all.
And
So
your
I
English
wish.
is so good. Your
Oh,
English
thank
is superb.
you.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
you're
is,
kind.
absolutely.
So I'll see you
Okay.
soon. I wish you a lovely week. And thank you
Yeah,
once again
keep
for doing
safe.
this. You too,
Keep
God.
safe.
You too.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
See
Okay,
you
take
soon.
care.
Take care.
Okay.